All 12 announcements from Google Cloud Next 2026. One morning, one platform seizes. From custom silicon to security agents, here's the thread connecting every single one. Right now, Google is processing around 16 billion AI tokens. Every single minute. That's up from 10 billion last quarter. Around 330 companies have crossed the 1 trillion token mark in the last year alone. 40% quarterly growth in paid enterprise users. But those numbers are not the headline. Google Cloud Next 2026 happened this week. 12 major announcements, one morning. And if you read the headlines, it looked like a product dump. New chips, new platform, new protocol. Each announcement siloed in its own blog post. It wasn't a product dump. It was a platform manifesto. Silicon to security, chips to chatbots. Every single announcement fits into one coherent bet. And that bet has a name, the Agentic Enterprise OS. There's one thread connecting all 12 of them, and most breakdowns completely miss it. Stick around, because we're going through every single one. Here are all 12 announcements that landed at Next 2026. Custom silicon, a new network fabric, an agent orchestration platform. Data tools, security agents, workspace intelligence. Customer proof from the biggest names in enterprise. That's the landscape. Now we walk through each one, starting with the hardware layer that makes everything else possible. If you are planning to run thousands of agents in production, the chip layer is where the cost equation lives. Google's 8th generation TPUs come in 2 flavors, and that design choice tells you exactly where they're betting. The TPU 8T is for training, around 121 ExaFlops per Superpod, nearly triple the performance of the previous Ironwood generation. Scale that to 9600 chips, and you have a single shared memory pool big enough to train the largest models alive today. The TPU 8i is different. It's built for inference, specifically for running thousands of concurrent agents cost-effectively. Around 80% better performance per dollar versus Ironwood. Custom board fly topology cuts network diameter by more than half. 3 times the on-chips RAM, 2 chips. One for training the brain, one for running the workforce. That is not a coincidence. It's the architecture of an agentic era. But the hardware story is only half the picture. Compute at that scale only works if the network can keep up. And Google's answer is the reason the campus works like a single machine. They call it Virgo, around 47 petabits per second of bisectional bandwidth. Non-blocking, meaning every chip can reach every other chip, simultaneously without congestion. 40% lower latency than the previous generation. Real-time telemetry for traffic shaping. The concept Google calls campus as a computer. A traditional data center is a building full of boxes connected by cables. Virgo's flat multiplanar topology turns the entire campus into one unified compute surface. No hierarchy, no bottlenecks, one machine. At that scale, the network isn't infrastructure. It's the product. The question every enterprise IT team is asking right now. Not, can we build an agent, but how do we manage thousands of them? GEAP is Google's answer. The Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform has 12 components. Agent Studio, ADK, Runtime, Memory Bank, Sandbox, Sessions, Identity, Registry, Gateway, Agent Garden, Evaluation, and Governance. The ADK alone processes over 6 trillion tokens monthly. Sub-second cold starts. New agents deploy in seconds, not minutes. The Model Garden carries over 200 models. Gemini, Gemma. And this is the contrarian move. Anthropic's Claude Opus, Sonnet and Haiku. Google's platform officially supports their biggest AI competitor. They chose ecosystem over exclusivity. New models launched too. Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview, Flashlight in Preview, Veo for video, and the Agent Payment Protocol. The foundation for agents that can actually transact. One problem with multi-vendor agent workflows, agents from different companies don't speak the same language. A2A protocol solves that. Version 1.2 is now in production. Over 150 organizations are running it. A Salesforce agent can hand off a task to a Google GEAP agent, which hands it to a ServiceNow agent. All in one workflow with no custom glue code. It's now governed by the Linux Foundation. That's the signal that says this is becoming a standard, not a vendor feature. If A2A is the language agents speak to each other, next up is the data they act on. Wait, 91% of solo AI builders quit within 3 months, but not this group. Over 1,000 builders. Daily hangouts where you debug together. Weekly workshops that actually level you up. A full Agentic coding course. 72 lessons, 12 modules. From zero to shipping multi-agent systems. People share projects, brainstorm ideas, help each other in real time. This is where AI builders actually make it. Link in description, 10% off. Join us. Back to the video now. Agents that can reason but can't act on your actual business data are expensive chatbots. Google knew that. The Agentic Data Cloud closes the gap between thinking and doing. Cross-Cloud Lakehouse Federation works with Databricks Unity Catalog, Snowflake Polaris, AWS Glue, and Azure. So your agents read live data wherever it lives. Spanner Omni brings globally consistent Spanner to multi-cloud and on-premise environments. Managed Lustre hits up to 10 terabytes per second for high-performance compute. BigQuery Fluid Scaling cuts auto-scaling costs by around 34%. The customer proof here is hard to ignore. Virgin Voyages used to take 6 hours to manually rebook mass itineraries. With agents on the stack, 11 minutes, 33 times faster. That number wasn't from a benchmark, that's production. If you've ever thought, I have no idea what my agents are doing at 3 AM, this scene is for you. Agentic Defense is Google's security layer built specifically for agent ecosystems. 3 new agents: threat hunting, detection engineering, and third-party context. They integrate with Wiz, which Google acquired last year. The result: over 5 million alerts processed. Triage time cut from 30 minutes to 60 seconds. On the infrastructure side, C4N virtual machines hit 95 million packets per second. GKE Agent Sandbox provisions 300 sandboxes per second. NVIDIA Blackwell B200 and B300 GPUs are now available for teams that need GPU-based workloads alongside TPUs. Traditional SIEM was built for servers. This is built for agents. Everything we've covered so far runs in the cloud. Workspace intelligence is where it touches the people actually doing the work. 3 pillars: information gathering, situational awareness, and true personalization. Gmail prioritizes your inbox by business impact, not recency. AI overviews synthesize across entire conversation threads. Natural language builds spreadsheets and generates infographics grounded in your actual business data. Third-party connectors for Asana, Jira, and Salesforce are now native, not add-ons. And for IT leaders evaluating a Microsoft migration, moving from M365 to Workspace is now 5 times faster than before. This is not a roadmap, it is in production. Capcom is running 30,000 hours of AI-powered game testing every month. Merck has committed up to $1 billion to an agentic platform across R&D, manufacturing, commercial, and corporate functions. Citadel Securities is running research 4 times faster and cut TPU costs by 30%. Tata Steel deployed 300 specialized AI agents in 9 months. Virgin Voyages cut mass itinerary, rebooking from 6 hours to 11 minutes. 5 industries, 5 proof points, none of them a pilot. Here's the signal that shows whether this is real or theater. 2 years ago, Google had 101 documented enterprise AI deployments. This week, that number became 1,302. 12 times growth in 2 years. 6 agent types across 11 industries: customer, employee, creative, code, data, and security agents. The insight buried in that data: natural language is the translator for legacy IT. 40-year-old SAP systems, mainframe databases, ancient ERPs, now queryable by Gemini. The interface changed, the infrastructure didn't have to. So what is the thread connecting all 12 announcements? Silicon, network, data, agents, security. Collaboration, every layer built in-house. Every layer feeding the next one. That is the Agentic Enterprise OS. Google's bet. Agents aren't a feature your cloud provider bolts on. They are the operating model, and infrastructure needs to be designed for them from the chip up. They also announced a $750 million partner fund to accelerate the ecosystem. Google shipped something real at Next 2026. The question is whether your stack is ready for it. Which of these 12 announcements actually changes what you're building? Drop your tech stack in the comments.